forget it does that. It caught me off guard last time. Hey, welcome in. As Bibby's having a nice swig of the old Vimto there. Cheeky V, love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, none of that Ribena shit on this channel, I'm telling you now.
I had this conversation, I think it was on stream the other day, and I was like, Vimto's better than Ribena, and there was like a couple of heathens in the chat that were like, what? So, yeah, I was like, I'm not even going to ban you because you're already troubled in life as it is, so we'll just ignore it and move on. But anyway, whether you like Vimto or Ribena, welcome into the stream. We are Ice Cream, and this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We're going to bring you your daily dose of news from the world of video games and beyond, so strap yourselves in. My name is Graham Day. This is the man that we call Bib. And, yeah, this is The Scoop. Hi. We are here to give you our thoughts and impressions of the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories in the world of video games, but we want your thoughts and impressions, and then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions, and whatever you want to share your thoughts and impressions on. And please do feel free to share them in the chat. We are live on twitch.tv/ice cream, where we go live each and every single Friday at 10 a.m.
Ish. Big-ish.
Ish. It's not even 12 yet. We went live at 11, which is right next to 10.
No, 12's here.
Oh, yeah, so he was. Yeah, nice. 11 right next to 10. That's ish. Nice, perfect. It's important that you do get involved in the stream, though, whether you just want to chat to us, share the issues or whatever, because the live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and Amazon. So all the on-demand people do get to do the pausing, rewinding, fast-forwarding, listening to 12 and WhatsApp me, and all those things. Yep, that was my WhatsApp, not yours. You're okay. But they don't get to add in to the on-air conversation. So if you are watching on Twitch, please make sure you say a big hello. There you go. That's how Baby says it. That's not okay. We're going to try again.
Hello.
There you go. In the chats. Before we jump to the news, though, a couple of talking points. We do the loot drop, which is a monthly giveaway exclusively for subs to the channel. One subscriber gets a prize, which happened last week as, I think it was 12. Was it 12? It was 12. 12 won a copy of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Didn't want it, so took a hat instead, which means we have a copy of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 to give away at some point. But we might also have a couple more things. But the Monday coming is another Loot Drop Monday. So if you are subscribed to the channel at 3 p.m. on Monday when we do the export, the first Monday of the month, then you will be in for a chance to win. We will draw in the Discord as we usually do, and we will let people know in there. You'll have 2 days to claim, and if you don't, we re-roll, baby. Nice! But for now, how's Tricks, Mr. Bip?
Yes, fantastic, Graham. It's Friday.
It's Friday, man. And then
He got no job. Yeah, it's been a long week this week. It feels like it's because we've been we've been so busy. You think that the week has flown, but there's that many things that I've tried to get done. That this it's just. I know it's Friday now. Nearly the start of the weekend, nearly time for some PG action tonight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm looking forward to now.
Kingdom Come 3 will be out before I get that hat, says 12.
I mean, a bit of commotion in the office yesterday when someone realised what the name was that was on the front of the box. That's going. I'm not going to say it because I don't know if a lot of people know your name, but the surname was Big Ed on it. And it was a little bit of commotion in the office because I didn't know that it was me that was sending it to you. And it was like, is this a real person? Is that the actual surname? I'm like, yeah, of course it is. Yeah, wait until you see him. But yeah, it's out for delivery. I think it's been collected already, actually.
Beach, you're so ungrateful, 12. Yeah, honestly, Beach had to wait 76 years for his prize. You didn't see him complaining. I mean, he probably was complaining behind our backs. You know what he's like. I've heard stories with, but it's got it now, and he says it's wonderful. So there you go. Nice. Jason Bighead, cunts. So real government names. Nice. Speaking of busy weeks, by the way, just a prep. Obviously, we do go live each and every single Friday at 10 a.m. ish. The ish is a very big ish next Friday because I will be being invaded at this point next Friday, probably. I am in hospital next Friday, so there won't be a scoop. There might be a dollop. Bibby might jump on with some news solo, but as with anything, once we lose a member of the team, the workload is doubled off stream as well, so it doesn't necessarily mean that we will. So Bibby might go live next Friday. We might not. Next week is a busy week. We would usually do like a recording on the Wednesday if we know in advance like this, but Wednesday we have stuff happening off stream that we can't talk about because of NDAs and so on. But exciting bits that should lead to some cool stuff, hopefully, for you guys on the channel as well coming forward. So it's a busy week off stream. Should be back, touch wood, fingers crossed, unless something goes wrong, for Chasing Crates with Mates on the Saturday. But the Friday I will not be around. So no scoop, possibly a dollop next week. Just a heads up before any of that kicks off. Beach says, never. It is wonderful. Nice. There was something. Someone was saying something about you had a little bit of latency or something. Have you managed to figure out how to get around that stuff? So you're playing it without the latencies and stuff now? I'm using the exact same headset. It's big things. I love it. I love my A50X. We were talking about it with Bally the other day, which reminds me, I need to jump into my Discord messages after the stream to sort that. But do you know what? We'll have those conversations elsewhere. For now, I will jump into the first story after I read Tito's comment. Might be a dollop, might be more solid. Depends how hospital goes. Sorry, couldn't resist. No, accurate to be fair. For now, though, first news. Should open full screen. Yeah, it did. Didn't have to change things. Lovely. This is written by Sam Woods over at The Gamer. Call of Duty now has its lowest ever, you can't see it because I'm in the way, average player count on Steam. Is what the article says. See, I love The Gamer. My favorite news site is undoubtedly VGC, but I do love this about The Gamer: the fact that they give you this 3 bullet pointed summary. If you didn't want to read the full article, you can get the gist of it there. That is exceptional work, because news sites don't do that because they want you to stay on the website so they can show you more advertisements and get more money. Whereas these think, do you know what? If I give you the good stuff, you'll come back anyway. And that's the long game that I can get behind. So much appreciation for that. But the article itself says, it's been a tough few months for Call of Duty, mainly facilitated by issues with this year's entry, Black Ops 6. The game faced backlash for using AI, has been constantly under fire for its expensive cosmetics, lols in PUBG, and its maps have been called some of the worst in franchise history. Lols in PUBG. There has been a near constant barrage of negativity surrounding the title. Ultimately, this led to Black Ops 6's player count falling below Modern Warfare 3's just a couple of months after launch, and it failed to recover, even with the launch of Season 2. While it looked like things couldn't get any worse for the storied franchise, they have, with the game now hitting record low player numbers on Steam since its launch was... they have, should I say. Let me go on and read that whole thing again, because the delivery... The wording was right, the delivery just wasn't dramatic enough, so we'll try again. So while it looked like things couldn't get any worse for the storied franchise, they have. With the game now hitting record low player numbers on Steam since its launch was released on the Valve-owned platform. When it launched, excitement was high around Black Ops 6. An Xbox Game Pass release meant it was accessible for new and lapsed players on Steam, and it peaked at 313,313 users. That changed quickly, though, just in case anyone doesn't understand that. 313,313 is the number of players it had. Nice. Prior to today, Call of Duty's launcher's lowest average player count on Steam sat at 55,000. I'm just going to leave it there, according to SteamDB. I am going to have to hit the decibel because that makes it. That makes the point. Fuck. Okay, it sat at 55,145.6. Average players. This was back in September 2023. Fast forward to now, and over the last 30 days, the player count has dropped by a further 10%, bringing the average down to 55,126.1. Naturally, some drop after the launch of a new title is to be expected. However, you have to imagine that even Activision couldn't have foreseen the game losing over 2/3 of its average player count in less than 4 months. With what is likely to be more than half a year until the next Call of Duty title is released, Activision will need to pull out all the stops to turn things around. Here's hoping it won't have wall running like 2026's entry is rumoured to have. I did not know that. Oh, it gets even worse. Ah, no. Okay, I'm going to jump back here for a second because I'm just stalling for a little bit of time as I jump back into this one. Just for a little bit of context. So Call of Duty being the worst it's ever been is quite remarkable when you put it in this context. This is written by Chris Scullion at VGC. It says more than 40% of all US, so obviously you can probably extrapolate some of this to the world, but be aware that this is just US only. More than 40% of all PS5 and Xbox playtime last month was spent on just 10 live service games. Players are trying fewer new games because of live services, analyst says. So more than 40% of the total time spent playing PS5 or Xbox Series X and S games in the US last month was spent on just 10 live service games. That's according to Matt Piscatella, the executive director and video game industry analyst at Circana, which was formerly MPD. In a thread on Blue Sky, Piscatella pointed out that more than 70% of active PS5 and Xbox Series X users in the US played at least one of the top 10 live service games in January. While some of these players may have simply tried the game, then moved on to something else, these 10 live service games have been popular enough to command a combined 40% of all playtime spent across the entire PS5 and Xbox libraries last month. Piscatella notes that statistics may be concerning for developers and publishers of games of other games because of the total US video market game spending. Total players and total hours all peaked in 2021, and the pace of games being released hasn't slowed. As such, the pool of potential players isn't getting larger, and if many of them are spending a lot of time on the same 10 live service games, that reduces the amount of time being spent trying out other titles, in particular new releases. Quote, a lot is riding on the new products coming to market this year to hopefully combat or reverse some of these trends, Piscatella noted, presumably referring to the Switch 2 and numerous upcoming AAA games. GTA. Quotes, used to be that players would jump from big game to some other games, but they were most often moving to something new. That they purchased, he added. Now, the live service games suck a ton of available time, and it's hard to beat free if it's good. So, here we are. End quote. So I'll stop there. We don't need to go any more. That bit was just to add a bit of context to the fact that Call of Duty is a live service game, an absolute mammoth of a live service game. Live service games in general are taking almost half of the available playtime in the market, and that's just from 10 games, split across 10 games. So despite live service being almost half of all playtime, Call of Duty is not having a great time with its lowest average players on record, at least according to Steam. So two different trends, both of them potentially worrying. What are your thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
Yeah, I mean, Chappers has pretty much summed it up in one sentence there, saying that COD has a real identity crisis at the moment. I don't think it knows what it wants to be. I think the fact that we're getting a different game every single year from a different studio who has a different idea or a different theme of the game might be putting people off. Like you've actively said many, 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 many times on this podcast that you don't like the you want boots on the ground. You don't want the wall running. You basically just alluded to it then with the fact that it could be in the new game and stuff. So, but you also you want modern stuff. You want the modern warfares. You don't want the old school world wars where they don't have sights on the guns and things. You're very much a modern warfare type player, and obviously they could just keep on pumping them out because they seem to always do well. They seem to perform quite well, and people enjoy them. They buy them in the droves. Whereas me, I really like the old school World War types. So that I think that's where it starts to the lines start to blur because you can't please everybody, which is I feel like what they're trying to do with Warzone. Like you're trying to please everyone, which actually alienates everyone because you're shoveling so many different moving things into one game that it just isn't being treated well enough across the board. Like all the bug fixes that need to happen within that game aren't being treated because they're trying to put more stuff into it at the same time. Like how can you repair the foundations of stuff when you keep on building on top of it? It's impossible. So the fact that Call of Duty is going through some form of identity crisis at the moment, what they need to do is a hard reset. And I feel like they did that a couple of years ago with the original remake of Modern Warfare. And I didn't think they'd need one this soon. But again, it's the old too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they need to do at this point, because they did it like 3 or 4 years ago, and they're back to square. They're back to the beginning again. They can't do another hard reset now. It's impossible. So I don't know, but like you mentioned with that article, then that there's 40% of people that are playing the same 10 games. I think with games being so expensive as well plays a huge part in this, because games used to be again, it's all. I've been trying to think of the word, but it's all relative. That's it. It's all relative to the era of how much people get paid for things and how much entertainment is going up. You can't go to a gig now for less than £100. So people are going to go, actually, yeah, we can sell these games for £80 or £100 for either digital collector's editions or whatever. Like the standard game price for a basic version is like £70 for a AAA game, which is it is obviously obscene, but they need to make the money back somewhere. So if people are only buying one game a month and it's just standard 20 to 40 hour experience, gamers probably are going to complete that within a week, 10 days max. So what do they do after that? They have to go back to some form of free-to-play game, because they're coming out in the droves. For the biggest games in the world are free-to-play games. So I don't know how video game developers, publishers try and tackle this, because I think it's nigh on impossible nowadays with games like Fortnite. Like, it wasn't that long ago that Dragon Age Veilguard, I can't remember who it was from there, came out and said that the game failed because it wasn't live service, and he got absolutely panned for it. But in there's a very small part of me that thinks, you know what, it might have had a better chance, even though that's not Dragon Age. That isn't what Dragon Age is about at all. It's about amazing storytelling, the characters, gameplay, all of that stuff that you'd expect from a single player type game. To then say, oh, we've probably fucked this by not having it always on, not multiplayer. I'm kind of starting to agree with them at this moment in time.
I would disagree with them in terms of, and I'm referencing comments made by other people because I've never played the Dragon Age games, but I will quote Viv Alanko, hi mate, if you're watching, and he said the issue was it wasn't a Dragon Age game anyway, so the problem was that they tried to do that game in a very different way, which didn't really engage the user base, and they didn't do anything that set themselves apart either. So they didn't evolve and push out in new ways. They kind of went after the pie that was being done better elsewhere. So they didn't do what other people did as well, and they didn't do what they did as well. So that's kind of why that went. I do definitely believe that they should have looked at evolving. But if you look at your games like your Elden Rings and your Baldur's Gate and stuff like that, they didn't necessarily need to go after live service to succeed. So I think they could have done that. I don't necessarily feel like live service, for me, is the solution. I get why it is, and I get why people go after it, because if we see 40%, the video games market is, I know it's not the biggest right now that it's ever been, but you could still just generally say video games right now are bigger than they've ever been, compared to like the decade before or the decade before, not compared to like last week or the week before. Generally, video games are worth more. So if you get 40% of the entire market at its biggest, you will earn significantly more than you will have got making one game 10 years ago. So that's why brands are going after it. I get that. I understand that. The shit bit for us, though, as players, is if Call of Duty is not anywhere near where it has been before, but it's still pumping in the money compared to making one game that might or might not succeed and only have one actual initial sale value. Call of Duty aren't happy with that, but they're still earning more money off that. But the downside for us is if they're not happy with it and their investors are not happy with it, but they're still earning more money, that they're going to either shut up shop, release members of staff, or let's say leave that stuff doesn't happen, they're going to change the way they make games to facilitate that live service and income fee, which means more spending, more maybe not loot crates because Call of Duty's moved away from that, but stuff that does take more out of your pocket, which is probably why we've seen things like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover, as we reported in last week's show, being more than the actual cost of the game itself. It was about 80, 90 quid or something. It was definitely $80, $90. It was something similar-ish, obviously a little bit lower in pounds. So if the player bases are dropping slightly, but still massive, but not enough for them, then that's when you start to see those expenditures. So it is kind of worrying to see that 40% of the video games market is in live service games, where some of those most major games in that space are dropping off. That means that 40% of the market are at the risk of exploitation. If all of those games are doing the same thing, if they're all thinking, user numbers aren't increasing, there's a number of metrics in video game marketing: DAUs, daily active users, or MAUs, monthly active users, and so on. Usually those are good sources of how your game is tracking, how many people log in every day, how many people log in every month. Usually ties relatively well to how much people are spending every day and every month. So your DAUs and MAUs, if that's dropping off, revenues usually are dropping off with it. So having 40% of the market but dropping off yourself means that even the biggest games out there are going, shit, we need to penny pinch here. We need to charge more and make things cost less and get more value added stuff. So it is kind of a worrying time, especially when that article mentioned that it was the second article. I don't know if I can find the quote. It was basically saying, there we go. Piscatella, I think this is it. I'll read through it. It might not be. If it isn't, I'll just tell you the point I was getting. So Piscatella notes that the statistics may be concerning for developers and publishers of other games because the total US video game market spending, total players and total hours all peaked in 2021, and the pace of games being released hasn't slowed. So games are still being released at the same rate that they were in 2021. Just less.
What happened in 2021?
Obviously,
people were at home.
But the point being, though, is that obviously spending, play hours, and so on has dropped off naturally, but games are still being released at that rate.
Yeah.
So the expectation is unrealistic there in the fact that we're releasing games just as fast as we did 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, but people aren't playing as much. Yeah, because they were locked inside. They couldn't do anything else. You need to check your figures. The reason you're getting rid of people is because you're expecting your game to have Bibby do nothing but play that for 16 hours today because the other 8 he has to sleep. So, 12 hours Bibby gets every night.
Listen, lockdown was a different fucking beast, you know what I mean? Like, there was very little sleep going on, too much drinking, too much golf and playing video games. But yeah, it was like people had so much money that there wasn't being able to spend. Like furlough was a thing. People was getting full wages and stuff. So they had nothing else better to do than play video games or go on park runs or whatever it is that was locked in. So I think it's naive. If there's people making decisions based off of people being stuck in their houses for the best part of 6 months, then they shouldn't be in that job. Like, there's no way that they can forecast the same amount of figures of people playing the game, daily active users, as well as people actually buying them. When a global pandemic was happening, where people couldn't leave their house, you cannot base your current sales figures on the same metrics nowadays because people have lives. People go on holiday now. People go out and actually exercise. People go out and, I don't know, go for meals or whatever.
Just want to point out, I do not exercise or have a life, so don't be tiring me with that brush. Thank you, mate.
Listen, you walk into Manchester to walk the dog to go and get whatever it is from Fat Pats.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Sold, agreed. Yeah.
So that for me, my friend, is leaving the house. Therefore, equals exercise.
So to wrap this then, so Call of Duty is its lowest ever player count, whilst live service games still account for 40% of the market. It is kind of a worrying time for me because live service games are dropping off, which means that they will start to do things that can either be, we always talk about PlayStation and Xbox, the console war, and the most exciting brand is usually the brand that's in second place. If you're in first place, you don't want to rock the boat. If you're in second place, you have to do something to capture the hearts and minds, column inches, get people to reach into their pockets, grab their wallets, and invest in you as a brand. You need to inspire them to do that. Whereas if you're in first place, you don't want to inspire anything because they're already inspired, and you hope that the level of inspiration is going to stay there because you want to keep the status quo and the happy medium that you built right now. So in video games, all of these first-party games are already at the top of the market, but they are falling off. So their steps to keep that status quo is, if anything, it's the opposite of inspirational. They don't want to rock the boat. They want to keep where they are. So they're going to do what they're doing, but a bit harder and a bit more leaner. And that often means charging more and giving less. Anyone that's played live service games over the 7-8 years that they've been very well established. What's that?
I've just seen Ads's comment. I could just imagine him going for a piss shadow boxing across the landing. Literally.
So for the benefit of the audio podcast, Ad says I get up to pee to exercise. I get up to pee. That's exercise at least 4 times a day, and I always end up shadowboxing for no reason whatsoever. So there you go.
Conor McGregor on the landing.
Hopefully not at the same time, because the amount of spillages and stuff would be insane there. Like someone set off a sprinkler in the bathroom.
He's pissing into a trough, Graham. Get it right.
So yes, anyway, video games will get leaner. Over the last 7 or 8 years, live service has become more clinical in terms of the amount of content that you will get for your season pass is less. The amount of money that you will spend on your season pass is more. The amount of time that you have that season pass is usually less. It used to be a 2-3 month pass, and it's now probably 4 weeks, 6 weeks. And you might have concurrent passes running side by side. And that is a trend of profit chasing. People are dropping off. Your time in the limelight is dropping off, so you need to keep that status quo, though. So we're going to squeeze you a little bit more. What we need is that other 60% of the market, or over the 60% of the playtime, which is not those top 10 live service games, to break out. We need that next breakout success, whether it be a full genre like your party games, like your Fall Guys, or sports games like your Rocket Leagues or your Battle Royales or whatever it is. We need something else to come and upset that status quo so that people do more than just heavy bank into live service games. And hopefully this year could be that. The implementation of new platforms, they mentioned Nintendo Switch in there. For me, that's kind of same. It's more of the same, just a different box, different case. But the GTA 6s, I know everyone's kind of tentpole in that. That could be the largest failure in video games. Probably won't be. If anything, the most likely failure for GTA 6 for me is that it's just GTA 5 again, but not quite as well. That's the biggest failure for it. For me, the reality is it will be GTA 5, but better. And that, and the industries that can spawn off the back of one hugely tectonic release, as we saw with GTA, with RP and custom lobbies and content streams bursting off it in every single direction, that kind of change of attitude and change of opportunities could lead to a whole new booming industry, which then ruffles that top 10 game having a 40% monopoly on the leaderboard. That could just completely change. It might be one game has a monopoly, but the stranglehold taken away from live service might push people into trying other things. Probably unlikely, but wishful thinking. Either way, 40% of people playing in a genre that is clearly dropping off on itself, it shows you that you could be the largest game in the world, Call of Duty. You have a couple of bad releases, or you change tack, or you miss the landing. You don't stick the landing. It can be a very, very hard time, not just for you, but the industry at large. So,
could this just be attributed to people wanting to be social gamers as well, though, rather than the first player experiences? Like, obviously, all these live service games are games that you're going to be playing with your mates. So, I don't know, like, when you do your chasing crates with mates, you're obviously playing with 3 other people, but when you do your dailies, chances are Nicho's going to be with you in the evening, so that's your opportunity to be able to catch up with Nicho, have a conversation with him, blah, blah, blah. So people who are playing all the Call of Duty games, the Fortnite games, Apex Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, CSGO, again, unbelievable game and has had some unbelievable legs. Like, it will never be caught. World of Warcraft probably came the closest, But CS:GO, I think, is just so market leading that it's just it's never going to be caught. But again, social game. So is that what it is? Like, are people just not playing single player games enough now? Like, when I know you mentioned it before, but when GTA comes out, are people going to go straight into online? Or they're going to play the campaign first? Because there's only one way that people are going to be playing the campaign first, as if that's releases before GTA 6 online.
I don't see that, you know, like in the same way when we had the old school Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and things like that. People just didn't even bother with the storyline and went straight into multiplayer for day one. Because if you're not in multiplayer, you're not grinding. If you're not grinding, you're not leveling up. If you're not leveling up, you're not getting the cash. If you're not getting the cash, you can't buy the guns in the apartments. And the people that are in there are better than you. So you're off. You're already off the track. You're off the pace, and you need to catch up. So quite often, people just go in and go, "Okay, we'll take the story in 3 months' time when everyone else has stopped playing it." Because at the moment, I need to be competitive and get there now.
Yeah, so I think that's the only way that people are going to play the storyline first. I mean, do not get me wrong. There is obviously going to be millions of people that are picking Grand Theft Auto 6 up to play the campaign. I will be one of those people. The online stuff for GTA Online has never interested me. Maybe because I haven't played it with many people before, or haven't had a good enough experience to carry on doing it. But there will be more people wanting to just jump straight into it online. So the only way that everyone's going to play it collectively is if they stagger that for maybe a week or two afterwards. But they're not going to do that. Why? Because GTA Online is making so much money across the board that it would be stupid for them to stop those kind of transactions for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I would love to see them have a soft launch, like you kind of get with Call of Duties as well. Like Call of Duty often releases the story mode, especially to creators or those with early access, a few days before the multiplayer to give people the time to enjoy both. Unlike the last Black Ops or whatever that released, or was it this one that released without a story mode? I can't remember, but yeah. You touched on something then that we spoke about previous stream as well. I was going to move on from this story, but it's a good point. Is looking at the market now, and Bibby mentioning social gameplay, a lot of the people that play video games do that as a replacement for previous social activities. People would often meet up, go to the pub, or meet up cinemas, or whatever things you'd meet up for, or do social things with your friends. Quite often, people do that now in video games. Video games are often a meeting place for people. So often, the game isn't what you're playing. What you're playing is life. Game is just a facilitator for you to do that. And if you're doing that, often you do that on a level playing field, a familiar environment. So if that is FIFA, if that is Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever, that kind of becomes incidental. PUBG, as Bibby's just mentioned, for me, and Nietzsche and anyone else that we might play games with off stream, let alone just on stream. And I wonder if that's something that gets factored into this, not just by the critics that are crunching the numbers, but like Bibby says, anyone that's referencing 2010 numbers as a benchmark for the industry is silly, because you are referencing an abnormal period of time as a normality. If you are referencing the amount of people playing games, then the market is different from what happened previously. The fact that 40% of all playtime is dedicated to 10 games was very different 10 years ago, but so was the average of the entire video game player base. You go back 10 years or 20 years, 30 years, it would be very different. The people playing games then were, air quotes, I don't like using this phrase, but I'm not going to spend ages and try and find good synonyms, but gamers. Back then, it was just gamers. You call gamers that were hardcore, and they play video games because they like video games, and that was what they wanted. Whereas now, people don't play video games for the games. People play video games for the life. They're your casual gamers. So, yes, 40% of people, 40% of all time is in live service games, but a large number of that will be people that don't necessarily assign themselves as gamers. They're just living their lives, but play video games as part of it. So that, if you're banking on that 40% being something that you can mobilize for your new single player game or your non-live service game or something, then you're looking at it wrong, because that's not someone that wants to sit there and play a single player game. They want games for social aspects, for escapism. That's not the thing that you will get in a single player game. So for me, developers are looking at that wrong. The downside, though, is developers will look at that and think, well, the money is clearly in the other side, so we need to go for that. So there will always be those people that are your core gamers that like your single-player experiences and so on, but the requirements capitalistically, financially from the market will require more games that aren't that, which means that more games will be made to satisfy these people that don't really want them. They just want somewhere to hang out with their mates. So it is kind of a worrying trend as a gamer looking at that from the outside. I don't see where that stops. Anyway, I will jump back up because there was a bunch of comments. I did see some good ones earlier on. Where is Sheep's one? He did have a big one. We'll start here. Oh no, we've got even more. I hope it.
Active today.
Yeah, Tito. I hope it goes all well in. I don't know what. I hope it goes well in all sincerity. I get it now. Okay, type in while spelling FC before you highlight the spell in the previous message. There we go. I got. Yeah, nice. Sesh says, I understand making money. I don't understand digital items being more expensive than their real life counterpart. Amen, 100%. It's mad, really, because them going for the throw everything at the wall and seeing if anything drag people back only comes off like a desperate X to me. I need to find my scrolly job. There we go. Oh, now it's gone. Fuck, I knew it was going to happen. Motherfuck. Oh, no, now it's gone all the way back up. I'm talking about cheese fake again. Just focus on what makes you better and not trying to scramble about. COD has a real identity crisis at the moment, says Chappers. To be fair, I don't even think they even want the same game to be the same game throughout its life cycle. They've changed Black Ops 6 entirely twice since launch. That's the shit thing, though, is that's the bit where I was saying usually it's whoever's in second place has to evolve and think outside the box. Now, being in first place and looking like you're not going to remain makes people make these dodgy decisions. Do you know what? We'll go hard on this bit because we think this might be better. We'll go hard on that bit because we'll get more profit. And this we can just sit out for the next 6 months until the next one. And you get this instance where a game and a brand and a sub-brand like a Black Ops that's been around for over a decade suddenly is, what does it mean? Because I knew what it was, and now I don't know what it is. Certainly put me off going back to a 300 gig game file with a shite launcher to get into your game. Yeah, exactly. It's not a great launcher service, and if you're going in there and it's not the same game that it was, let alone not even classing the meta balancing, just the changing of the whole mechanic is woof. Ghost Recon Breakpoint tried making a relatively successful game into live service, didn't pay off, I think, says Tito. I was hoping I'd like Warzone, but it's just too quick and chaotic for me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I agree. I do like a bit of Warzone, but it's that change of pace that I say. I don't want that to be the pace. That's when I want a break from what I want as my pace. I know what I want from video games, and it's not that pace, not that speed. But it being a bit frantic and a bit chaotic is fun. Too frantic, too chaotic is just... okay, once that novelty of that having to skill up for that wears off, and you're just in that all the time, if you're always oversensitized... is that a word? Oversensitized? No, desensitized is oversensification. Yeah, if you're oversensification all the time, it's a real word. Then it loses the value. The novelty is not there. If that's what you enjoy, fair enough. If it isn't, then you're like, oh, this is stress. I don't need this. Thank you. I honestly think a lot of players have been turned off gaming. Sub-high games have been pumped out with ever-increasing methods to pump us out of our cash. Drew says, nods approvingly. I can't remember what that was for, but cheers, Drew. Thank you, mate. Gamers have always been cynical. This is it. With Netflix, Prime, Game Pass, YouTube, etc., the competition for people's attention has never been more difficult. People don't have the same willingness to go through the crap. It just gets chucked to the side. If a quality game drops, people just move on with COD. More so now it's free with Xbox Game Pass. They need to seriously swap their focus from eking out every penny from gamers and focus on making games and changes that players want. But that's the thing, though, is... sometimes the changes that players want are expensive and they're already focused on eking out every penny. So I hear what you're saying. I know that you want less bunny skins and you want us to focus on changing the servers to make the whole experience just be more enjoyable. But if we do change the servers, there's a whole cost on not only scouting new server systems, but then running tests through our network and so on. And then the ball ache of actually moving the network over, because no amount of testing ever gives you a proper representation of what it is when you move your servers and so on, because there could be all sorts of overload and stuff there. The fact that the servers that we've got at the moment, we understand what that price is. That's relatively cheap. The ones that will be better will cost more money. So, yeah, we want to make you better by here's 2 pink skins. Nice. Enjoy. And next week, 3 more pink skins. Let's go. So it is that thing.
They must be selling, though.
Yeah.
For them to keep on wanting to do it, there must be. So it obviously is targeted at a particular demographic. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
And it's obviously selling, because why would they keep on paying for a license for it to keep on coming back again? So, I mean, are we the mugs?
Yeah, and we are across all of the games though. So I'm saying pink skins. If you're thinking Call of Duty doesn't have pink skins, it doesn't, because it's targeted at a different demographic. What Call of Duty does is gets you the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Terminator and Predator or whatever it was, and Ghostface and things like that. So they get you westernized skins that you would be willing to be throwing some cash at. Which was fine. But now we're at a point where we've had in the past those skins disappearing at the end of the year. So Ghostface, one of my favorite skins, doesn't exist on the new games now. Okay, so I spent money for no reason. Great. So then they fixed that by adding new skins in, but then the prices of those have gone from 7, 8, 14 quid to now you're looking at 100 quid for a set of 5, which is madness. So, yeah, they do need to focus on quality content, and quality content can be aligned with better revenues, but the industry proven does not know how to do that.
Yeah.
There must be something we don't know, whether it be licensing fees or whatever behind the scenes. It can't surely just be based on we want more profit for our shareholders, because everyone across the board is doing it. There has to be some reason why someone somewhere hasn't gone, should we just do this right? Because, maybe we just do good content.
Fortnite hasn't, though. It's apples and pears, because Fortnite have had all the same licenses pretty much that Call of Duty have had for a fraction of the price.
Yeah, true.
Now, is it one of those? Is it the fact that Fortnite have them so low in terms of skin price compared to Call of Duty, because they know that if they get 3 sales of one, it equates to 1 Call of Duty skin, but they know that they're going to outsell the Call of Duty skins as a whole, so they can bottom out the price.
It's
because that's the average price that people have paid.
It's like economies of scale. Like if you only have 5 people to sell to, you need to sell at a high price. But if you could sell to 50 people, you can drop the price and you can make your money back in increments. So that does kind of matter. But Call of Duty have been through that themselves in terms of selling loot crates at pennies each to get a good skin, versus selling a good skin at 10 quid. More people will buy the good skin at 10 quid than will waste their potentially 3 quid, potentially 15 quid, potentially 30 quid on loot crates. And they realised after 3 days, we've actually made more profit from selling the skins up front than we have from loot crates. So they've gone through that sort of learning themselves. They've just now gone, let's just turn the needle just a little bit, move the needle a little bit further towards profit. And
I think the average skin price is like between £6 and £8. I can't remember. It's been a while since I bought one on Fortnite, but 6 to 8 quid compared to, what was it, £20 each for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones, and TMNT was in Fortnite not that much. I'm sure it was actually before Call of Duty, and it wasn't that expensive.
Yeah, it was. I got the Leonardo skin. It was about 8 quid, whereas it's 2,400 COD points, which I think is it 1999 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Like how it's you can't. They're not comparable. Like you could buy 2 of the TMNT for the 1 that you buy in COD. You can't compare them.
So you can't compare.
Who does it better though?
What you can't compare is having a normal P versus having a P that's done while shadowboxing yourself in the mirror. So that's where we are in the chat right now. Ad says, I always end up shadowboxing when I go for a P for no reason. Try knocking myself out in the mirror. Lost twice now. Dirt Chappers, hard plays. I'm going to implement that into my piss routine. Yeah, if you do implement shadowboxing into your piss routine, please do feel free to let us know. What's the scoop? There he is. All right, hang mate. I played Black Ops 6, but stopped 3 weeks ago. I haven't even loaded it up since Season 2 dropped. It seems to say me was fun, but gets repetitive. COVID made gaming my sociable experience. A lot of people had that sort of impact too. I play more single player at the moment, loving PES 2012, Borderlands 3, and my indie roguelikes. Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, I'm definitely... moving, not necessarily more into single player, but moving my expectations of video games around at the moment. I'll probably still come back and settle on PUBG as I always have done over the last few years, but I've definitely got more of an urge to switch now than I ever have. So it just shows you where we are with video games. Call of Duty is not the only one that's tired. Live service can be and is, and very often does become tired. Probably the nature of the beast. Waiting for a good multiplayer game to blow my mind. Monster Hunter Wilds is interesting today. Released today. Interesting, me should have said. Released today, innit? I think Delta Force Extraction, when it comes to console, could do bits for a lot of the community, the PUBG community.
I agree. I think Delta Force is definitely a viable option for a lot of people at the moment that are looking. Again, write this down if you've not already played it. But Exoborn, I think, is going to be one of those games. I have played the open beta, the last one that came out. Fantastic game. I genuinely think that this is the extraction shooter that I personally have been waiting for. It's got a little bit of everything. It feels like I'm playing The Division, which is great because I love The Division, just with a lot of tactical extraction elements to it. But yeah, keep your eyes on it, on Exoborn. I think that's going to do bits.
And Fear for 98, by the way. Yeah, there you go.
Just don't go to our time because it crashes.
Yeah, we tweeted about it the other day. There's a game on Steam Next Fest, which is ongoing right now. You can play games and demos for a bunch of games for free for the next 5 days-ish, I think it still runs for. 3 days, I think it is now, actually. And there's a game in there called Fear for 98. Fear for, which is FIFA 98 meets Silent Hill. It's almost like a Rocket League-esque sort of viewpoint, but in a 90s PS1 style developed game made by a solo developer. Don't expect a lot because it is made by a solo developer. It's definitely it relies on catching the animation of FIFA fans and Silent Hill scary game fans and them merging together to be the wonderful thing that it could be. It's not the wonderful thing that it could be, but it is a quirky idea. So check it out if you want. You don't have to. It's up to you. No spawn. I like that one game Bibi played / tested. It was a BR, but had a cart mode too. Which one was that one?
Compete. Very good game. Again, it was in very, very, very early access. I still got it. It's still going. It's in it's in early access. Anyone can play it, but that is tight controls. It does have double jump in there, which I'm not too mad about. It doesn't have wall running or anything, but it does have a double jump booster. That is a very good game. A very good game. I haven't played it for maybe 2 weeks now. I've never actually played the kart racing on it.
Or you can't, maybe. I don't know. God damn.
Yeah, we couldn't find the game online for the kart part of it. But yeah, as a BR, it's great. It's, again, very early access, so there's a long way to go with it. So it could change umpteen times before release. But that's one to keep an eye out. But I think we've got a while before that sees the light of day.
Carry on with the chat. Tank says, overstimulated? Sometimes I am, but not today, thanks, mate. Doom says, by the way, my birthday, T8-ish week. It's your what, T80th this week, mate? Nice. No, I'm joking. It's Doom's birthday. It was Doom's birthday this week.
Happy birthday, mate.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I would usually do the happy birthday to you thing, but I've not got voice mod set up, so happy birthday, mate.
I don't like you that much.
Yeah, I don't like that much. Yeah. Add to Cody Rhodes. I can't remember why, so we'll just keep going. Are you still drunk from celebrating?
I remember him putting it in the time. I was like, why is that there?
Planned. Try again. Planned for Saturday. For this Sat, if you want games. What all day or the evening or what? What's to crack? The next game I'm looking forward to is Roadcraft. Not even sorry. Mud Runners and Snow Runners was fun, but missing elements. So this should scratch my itch. Fucking knew I'd pay for that. Obviously nice. Tank says, and I can speak very good Welsh, so get ready for this. Penbylwyd Appus Doom. Mate, there you go. Codskin. Is there actually a Cody Rhodes Codskin?
Oh, I think there was wrestling skins in there at one point. They had a Nicki Minaj one at one point as well, which I thought was a bit wild. But
yeah, and Snoop Dogg and bits and stuff. Yeah,
I get that though. Snoop's a gamer, and that's not me disregarding Nicki Minaj as being one, but I can't imagine that one sold all that well.
You never know. I did see a bunch of clips and stuff on it. Celebrity culture.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
On that bombshell, we're going to put a pin in that and move back over to the next news story. Jordan Midler at VGC has this one. Pokemon Champions announced for Nintendo Switch and mobile. I don't know if you noticed or knew or cared if you don't or not, but yesterday was Pokemon Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was you yawning then with closed mouth?
Oh God, I haven't got a poker face. Samantha tells me all the time.
I wasn't looking at you, so I didn't see it that time. I can tell when you're doing it, but it was the. it's like someone trying to swallow a train.
Fucking crying. My eyes are watering.
Nice. Okay, Pokemon Champions announced for Nintendo Switch and mobile. The new battle-focused game is being developed by Pokemon Works. The Pokemon Company has announced a new game, Pokemon Champions, which will be released on both Switch and mobile devices. This title will be focused on the Pokemon battles you know from the Pokemon games, the Pokemon Company said. We're aiming for these core-style battles to be enjoyed by more people. I'm going to hit play on this. Mute it, though. The game's planning is being handled by Game Freak and development will be handled by Pokemon Works. The game will connect to Pokemon Home and will be compatible with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Get rid of the advert. Get ready to experience everything you love about Pokemon battles all in one place in Pokemon Champions, reads a press release for the game. This new battle-focused game will feature familiar mechanics such as Pokemon types, abilities, and moves, creating an environment conducive to rich and varied strategies for new and experienced trainers alike. It's not just familiar mechanics. You'll also you'll be able to bring in classic Pokemon from Pokemon Home too. Look forward to cross-platform battles alongside your favorite Pokemon on Nintendo Switch and mobile, with a variety of different modes available for your desired experience. While a complete list of compatible games wasn't announced, both console games such as Scarlet and Violet and mobile games like Pokemon Home were referenced, suggesting the vast majority of currently available Pokemon will be usable in the game. No release date for the game was announced elsewhere. Pokemon showed off the latest trailer for Pokemon Legends ZA? I don't know. But did you see this, babe? What are your thoughts?
Yes, I love the look of this. It's so, I don't want to say it's something a little bit new because we've obviously seen a lot of these types of things before. The only thing that I haven't seen in it is how they actually battle. Is it going to be like Pokemon Stadium, or is it going to be like what was the new latest Pokken tournament? Is it going to be like that? Is it going to be like doing combos and shit, or is it going to be turn-based? That's what I want to know. But again, looks fantastic. This is obviously going to be on Switch and Switch 2, right? It doesn't actually allude to it because it just says in development now. So it might be limited by what we're going to be seeing on with the original Switch, but I hope to God that this is going to be like a high performance game because I'm ready to see. Like the animations on the TV show are obviously so much better than we're getting in the games for obvious reasons. I want that TV show feel when I'm going to be playing this.
Sorry, I was just adding the discussing now bit. Pokemon Champions announced for Switch. Yeah, I think you're right there in saying this has to be on both. It'll probably come out on Switch, but it'll be one of those that's like Xbox Series X and S enhanced. It'll be Switch 2 enhanced or something like that. Has to be. I am a big fan of the idea of Ads' words. Looking forward to Champions. Looks like a modern day stadium. Yeah, like Pokemon Stadium way back when on the 64, was it? Is that what it first came out on or something?
Yeah.
So played a lot of that. I like the idea of battling across the map using Pokemon. I much prefer it to not be turn-based when it's in that sort of environment and be more fighting game. So for me, I'd like that, but I still don't really get in the nicest possible way because I need more than just a Pokemon game for me to be fully invested in Switch. I have a Switch, don't use it. I have a Steam Deck and much prefer that. Switch 2 doesn't fuss me. I'm not planning to go out of my way to get one. If they're cheap enough to buy and there's real reasons to buy them, that's great. But this definitely won't be enough personally for me. And it was because, like, watching this trailer, I got excited at the fact that, like you see when it gets into the battle sort of phase, there's a Charizard. I was like, oh, okay, well that's it. Graham's happy, but then it goes into like the is it like a Mega
Evolves?
Yeah, nah, I'm lost. You've lost me again. Then you've taken something I know and turned it into something I don't know. Therefore, I'm not bothered. It's cool, but I'm not. I'm clearly not their target audience anymore. I'm the boomer that just doesn't want to move ahead with the time. So it's cool, but it's not enough for me. Anyone in the chat, mega Pokemon fan, does that tickle your pickle? What are your thoughts? Please do feel free to let us know. The new game ZA isn't turn-based. Yeah, that'll be like Arceus, right? Like what was Arceus not turn-based, or was it? I don't know. I thought
it was when you was in battles.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah,
but I'm not. I wasn't 100% sure. I did watch Show play a bit of it, but that's been a while since then. It's gonna be like Pal World. Wait, don't say that. The Pal World developers will come for you. So yeah, if you missed that, Pokemon Champions was announced for Switch yesterday. We're picking up the pace now because we've been on for quite a bit. So if you notice the news stories are rolling, it's because we are made. Next up. Honestly, can't get a week without mentioning PUBG. I've mentioned it like 7 times already, but we'll mention it again now. This time, Matt Wales at Eurogamer has the next story. It says, here's a look at PUBG. There you go. No, wait, no, it doesn't. It says, here's a look at PUBG creators' survival game set in a wilderness generated by machine learning. Prologue, go way back. Out in Q2. So PUBG creator Brendan Green's ambitious 3-game project will soon get underway with the launch of Prologue, go way back in Q2 this year. And in the run-up to the survival game's release, Green's studio, PlayerUnknown Productions, has shared a first trailer. I'm going to hit play on this. I've not seen this myself. I will watch this again after the stream. I'm going to mute it now, though. For some backstory, Green unveiled his studio's 3-game plan last December, explaining that each project would build on the last, culminating in something called Project Artemis. That started with last year's early access release of Preface, Undiscovered World, not one of Green's 3 planned games, but rather an immersive tech demo, giving players the opportunity to explore an Earth-scale world generated by machine learning agents in real time. With that project now out in the wild, things are about to step up a notch with the release of Prologue, Go Way Back. This builds on last year's tech demo by introducing more traditional survival game elements into a wilderness generated by machine learning, enabling millions of maps and delivering what's been described as a self-contained single-player open-world emergent game within the survival game. Don't know what that means, never do I. Okay, Go Way Back. Now, it basically means your single-player world environment should be vibrant. That's what we get. That's what I'm getting. Anyway, Go Way Back promises a world where emergent systems subtly influence gameplay, with players needing to brave unpredictable weather and ever-changing landscapes as they attempt to reach the weather station and call for help to escape the wilderness. To that end, they'll begin with an old weathered map and essential tools, utilizing resources, foraging for food, making repairs, and building shelters to improve their chances of survival. Quote, no one will tell you where to go or how to survive, explains the blurb on Steam. There are no hand-holding mechanics, no fixed paths, and no guarantees. It's a world where preparation is key and improvisation is often the difference between life and death. That's about all the information shared so far, but Prologue Go Way Back's first trailer, which you can see above, not now on stream because that would be Final Fantasy, gives an approximate idea of how it'll all unfold as players explore vast expanses of autumnal forests, crystalline lakes, and looming mountains in snow, ice, and driving rain. Go Way Back is the first of 3 standalone games that'll serve as building blocks for the studio's ultimate project Artemis, a massive multiplayer sandbox experience that leverages the technological advancements tested across earlier games. After Prologue, 2 more games are planned for release in the coming years, Green explained previously, each addressing critical technical challenges that will bring the studio closer to the final product. A lot of words there. What's your take, Mr. Bibb?
Yeah, I actually quite like the trailer of this. It definitely looks like the type of game that I would love to jump into.
I'm full screen.
Obviously,
for people to have a gander.
Yeah, the purpose of it is obviously to find the tower, but like, what you're doing along the way. Like, I know it in the trailer it shows you like running through the forest or whatever, and then you see a cabin and you go to sleep, wash your clothes, blah blah blah. It's kind of like a I don't even know what kind of survival game I'm trying to compare it to, but it looks good. I just need to see a little bit more of it. Like I like the lighting effects on it and things like that. So I need to know more before I can. I think it's a game that I would like to play, but if it's a game that I'd end up finishing, I don't know. I don't know what the hook is yet. Like, is there going to be people chasing you, or is it just elemental damage? Like, I don't know what the game is all about. But yeah, the trailer makes it look really good. It actually looks quite scary in some bits as well.
Yeah, it does look cool. First time watching it now. I've got the audio on for the first time. You are right. This is definitely a demo in essence, in the fact that, or a technical, what was the phrase? Trial program. It's not the words I'm looking for, but we'll go with that. It's definitely something to allow them to data crunch and test systems and so on. Okay, we're done. We'll go back over here. Which is cool. It doesn't look like you are coming up against other people, be that NPCs or PvP. It doesn't look like there's any. It's just you PvE in terms of braving the environments, which is pretty cool in itself. In terms of you've got the survival elements of DayZ, but without the distraction of the zombies and things like that. That probably won't last for very long in terms of shelf life, but it's probably not meant to. If this is only a prologue to prologue, or what was it? So there's preface, undiscovered world, prologue, go way back, and then they were all part of Project Artemis. What was the end point again? I can't remember what they said. Do you know what? I'm not even bothered. But yeah, it looks cool. I definitely would give it a try. It's probably not something that you're gonna spend a long time in. You might give it a few playthroughs or something if it's a case of getting to the end. But beyond having the same sort of environment or the same sort of journey, but having that massively changed by being in torrential rain, being at nighttime, being windy, being weather effects, that's cool, but then you've kind of done it. Okay, we need to get to the tower. Oh, I died because I didn't make it. Oh, I did get there. Job's a good one. It's all cool. I do like it though. I'm very much invested in the long game that they have for this. I might not be overly excited about going in and try and go way back, but I am excited about the idea of someone doing like massive scale survival games properly, because games like DayZ, for me, and maybe I'm wrong, if people are DayZ players, I've got an interest in DayZ. I've played a bit of DayZ. And it feels like this game could be phenomenal, should be phenomenal, with how long it's been going for, how many people are invested in it, how many mods and things exist in the world for it. But then you'll still have the same sort of rough around the edgesness of you walk in front, a zombie will be there, and it'll kind of go, oh, there's a fucking dude there, and then it'll go, ah, and then they'll run towards you, and they'll go, ah, ah, 3 seconds. Then they kind of go, ah, and then, ah, ah. And then 3 seconds, and they go, wow! And then they go, ah, ah! And it's like, oh, so the same shitty, patterny, routine-y stuff. There's nothing, it's just the same, more capped naffness, and then low-res, and blah, blah, blah. So if that's the best we've got, surely we can have better. So if this is building out procedurally, there we go, generated worlds.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. That has more dynamic weathering, and your map, your world that you're playing in is different to mine. Maybe in the final game we can jump in each other's worlds, and it's almost like Minecraft in the fact that your procedurally, there you go, generated world is different and has been customized and tweaked by you, and other people can come into it and so on. And then people can start building custom maps with fucking their own buildings and shit. If that's where we're going to, happy days. So right now, give it a try, have a tinker, don't expect a lot, and maybe you'll have a good time. But yeah, I'm liking seeing someone tinkering with a creative angle that doesn't look to be heavily hinged on let's milk every penny out of this yet, because that is where PUBG came from, and then naturally it got taken to a different angle after launch. Hopefully we keep going in the same direction with this, because this could be exciting. Speaking of exciting, Mr. Bibb, you shared this in the Discord earlier on, and it definitely got me excited. If you didn't see this, fucking spicy meatball. Sticking over at Eurogamer and sticking with Matt Wales, Terminator 2 is back as an arcade side scroller, and it's coming later this year. Rasta La Vista, baby. Yeah. So some 35 years after experiencing an overwhelming sense of mild disappointment thanks to Ocean Software's Terminator 2 Judgment Day and the ZX Spectrum 128K, I get to tell you a new video game adaptation of James Cameron's movie hit is coming this September. But despite the furious march of technology, this one's also going to be 2D also. Shout out to Ocean Software, because Ocean Soft is my favourite video game logo ever, bar none. I fecking love the logo of Ocean Soft from back in the day. But yes, they tried a big game. It wasn't great, so we're getting a new Terminator 2D side-scroll. So Terminator 2D No Fate is the work of developer Bitmap Bureau, the studio behind the likes of Xenocrisis and 88 Heroes, and it's looking to deliver some good old-fashioned arcade-style side-scrolling action inspired by iconic scenes from Terminator 2 and original scenarios. Its obvious selling point is its rather strikingly animated pixel art, but as per Terminator 2D's announcement trailer, it's also got a bit where you get to wander around a bar as the T-800 smashing up buddies while unabashedly in the nude. As it happens, though, the T-800, nude or otherwise, is just one of several characters you can play as in Terminator 2D. I'll hit play on the trailer as I'm reading. Bitmap Bureau say the T-800 has been designed to emphasize his weight and power with moves including a devastating shoulder barge. And while he's slower than Terminator 2D's other playable characters, Sarah Connor and John Connor, he also has high durability. As for Sarah, she's agile and reactive, excelling at melee combat with a sliding attack. However, she can also deploy her laser sight, locking her in place but significantly boosting damage. John Connor, meanwhile, will be playable as an adult during the game's future war missions. He's not as agile as Sarah, but can evade attacks with a tactical role, and also emphasizes mid to long range combat with a plasma rifle, pipe bombs, and 3 ammo types. And of course, the iconic T-1000 is back as the game's main adversary. Liquid metal abilities included. I'm going to hit pause on this trailer because we've got 30 seconds go. I'll just read this last bit. Terminator 2D No Fate, which also includes multiple endings, leaving players to decide humanity's future, launches for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC via both Steam and Epic on the 5th of September. Skadoosh. 5th of September. You interested in this, babe?
Yes, I think I'm actually going to pick up the physical of this. I went on the website to find out how much it is, and it's £45 for the physical. So I think this is one that I'm going to pick up. I think this actually might be my first limited run game.
Oh, is it limited run doing the physical side of it?
Yeah.
Love the.
I think.
Just look, had a quick glance at the end bit. Then the continue. Do you want to continue 10, 9? And it's got the bit where that Arnie's thumb comes out of the fucking. I call it lava, but it's molten metal. I'm just gonna stick with lava because that's an easy word to say. Thumb comes out of the lava at the end, kind of like, ew. That's class. But yeah,
I
big
actually don't
fan
think
of
it
this.
is limited run.
Big fan of this. So for anyone that doesn't know us and what we've played previously on stream, we played through Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Streets of Rage 4, both side-scroller games. We're a big fan of modern, postmodern side-scrollers, and clearly postmodern side-scrollers that have an influence from the 80s and 90s with the Turtles and Streets of Rage, and now Terminator 2, so fucking yeah. I wonder if this is just single-player, or whether they'll have any sort of, like, two-player, multiplayer sort of crossover and stuff. From everything I've seen so far, it looks single-player.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm definitely interested
I'm not
in getting
sure
this
on
one
that
as well.
one. But yeah, we're of a particular vintage, shall we say. So growing up on these types of games, like genuinely Terminator, RoboCop versus Terminator. Yeah, RoboCop versus Terminator on the Mega Drive. That's like one of my all-time favorite games. That's one of my great gaming memories from when I was younger. More Terminator side scrolls. I mean, the animations are so smooth on this. Like, obviously, it is like to reference the older type of games, but the animations of what they could do nowadays, it looks so smooth. Like at the very end, where Sarah's shooting the T-1000 into the lava, and you just see like the back of him just start to have the liquid metal popping through. It looks so good. I can't wait to play it. Genuinely.
Yeah. Speaking of old as fuck, show! How you doing, mate? I mean, the sub being 54 months, not you.
Yeah.
God damn. God damn. Appreciate that, thank you, mate. I do feel mugged off, though, because there's no cheesy bad joke that's come along with that primer there. So I'll allow you to throw some sort of horrific banter, some sort of dad punnage. We'll wait for it. I like the name because No Fate is a reference to what Sarah Connor scratches into the bench before she goes after Miles Dyson. There you go. There you go.
And you know what? Never would have put two and two together there. So that's great trivia.
David's always got bits of trivia like that. Big fan of this. Terminator Dark Fate, No Fate. There you go. Just mentioned it and I fucked it up straight after. No Fate is definitely something I'm interested in. We'll do 2 playthroughs. If it's not multiplayer, we'll watch Bibby play it and then you watch it played by a real expert. Yeah, and then after that, I'll play it as well.
I never picked up the other Terminator game that came out about 3 or 4 years ago that actually looked really, really good.
The Nakon one.
Nakon, that was it. I was going to say Deep Silver, but yeah, the Nakon one looked really, really good, and it actually reviewed quite well, if I remember rightly, as well.
Yeah, there was that. That was I think it reviewed okay, but then I think it was the RoboCop one after it that reviewed really well.
Yeah, that was the cheesiest shit.
Yeah, but people were like, if you know it's cheesy RoboCop 80 shit, then it's great. If you expect anything more than that, then you're the problem, not the game, because you're expecting it to be something different, and it's supposed to be like a love letter back to the films kind of thing. Did you hear that the creator of Throat Lozenges passed away a couple of weeks ago? There was no coffin at his funeral. My wife said she's leaving me because I always misquote the Terminator films. She'll be back.
I like it.
Loves it. But yeah, that has been it. Let me give you a bit of a recap. We spoke about, at length, Call of Duty has its lowest ever average player count on Steam at the moment in Black Ops 6, which is quite a remarkable feat when you consider the fact that... minimizing things. When you consider the fact that 40% of all playtime on Xbox and PlayStation... Big yawn there, babe. Nice.
Yeah, I just went for it this time rather than fucking stretching my face, eyes watering and stuff.
Where did we get to? Oh, yeah. So, Call of Duty is its lowest ever player count, and that's surprising when 40% of all playtime, at least in the US, on PS5 and Xbox, is spread across just 10 live service games. So nearly half of the market is defined by 10 live service games. Call of Duty being one of the biggest live service games is at its lowest ever player count. So when live service games are thriving and Call of Duty isn't, it's not a great sign. What is a great sign, though, is that Pokémon Champions has been announced for Nintendo Switch and mobile. So if you want some Pokémon fun times, that is coming, as well as Pokémon Legends. Is it Z-A? Z-to-A? Z-hyphen-A? How am I pronouncing that? Is it Z-A? I don't know. Next, we then moved over to look at Prologue Go Way Back, which is a game being made by by PUBG original creator Brendan Green. That's the second release that he's had in that. So in the build up to whatever, I can't remember the name of the final game is going to be. But yeah, check it out if you want some tech demo fun times. And then if you want some actual fun times, Terminator 2 comes back as a side scroller this September. Terminator No Fate. I'm clearly hungry because I've got turkey on the brain.
I am starving now.
Yeah. We're just about ready to let you go. Before we do, we've got one more thing that we always do. We wrap up the week with a little bit of info on how you can bag yourself something for free. It is !FF Free Game Friday, and I'm saying that Tito can't do it because he's not a mod, because
Free Game Friday.
Goddamn. So Epic Games Store free games right now. Friday 27th of March, which was yesterday, through to Friday the 6th, or Thursday the 6th of March, should I say, is Mages of Mistralia. I don't know if I pronounced that, but if it's not right, we're going with it anyway. So like any good kid born with magical powers, Mages of Mistralia Zia strikes out on her own in a whimsical adventure of self-discovery and justice. As an action game, you'll use Zia's spellcasting kit in encounters against irritable dragons, creepy tree guys, and hostile mages. Those spells are a little more than the regular old fireball types too. Mystralia lets you customize spells with behaviors like bouncing, homing, and teleporting, even going as far as adding options for size timers and how Zia's magic triggers. So there you go. That is a game free on the Epic Games Store right now if you want something different to play this weekend. Next weekend, though, we got, I don't know what it's about. Next weekend from March the 6th, we will be getting Them's Fighting Herds. Don't know what it is, but it sounds like that's fighting talk, so we'll have a bit of it. Yeah. And we're done. But not done for the day. We will be back on stream tonight. Bibby will be around with some PGA 2K.
Yes, I will.
25. And might be joined by Dunk from the sounds of it. Dunk, if you have been watching Bibby play games on the weekend, has jumped in for some FCs and some PGAs and stuff in the past. He's been buzzing for the game, now has access to the game, had a very, very long night trying to get up to speed. Clearly he wants to be Billy Big Bollocks on stream, but will Bibby, Mr. PGA himself, be the man, the myth, and the legend on the golf course? My God, even my bits to sell are just not working because I'm hungry. Will he be the man, the myth, the legend, and the coleslaw? Find out tonight on twitch.tv/ice cream. But yeah,
I guess it's not.
Yeah, I believe in it. That's later on though. For now, we are going to wrap things up. If you are watching the stream, please stick around. You'll get some sprinkles, some channel points as we pass on a raid to one of our friends, TBC. But before that happens, Mr. Bibb, is there anything you want to add?
Yes, thank you very much to each and every one of you that have joined us for today's episode of The Scoop. As Graham alluded to, it was either at the beginning of this show or in the pre-show, that there might not be an episode of The Scoop next week, depending on workload. So there's only one way you're going to find out, really, and that's by following the channel. Making sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube, making sure that you've rung the notification bell on our Spotify profiles, because if there is one, you'll be notified. But yeah, if you want to help shape the next show, whenever that might be, there's two ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. This is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. All we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We will then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which could be in the next week, it could be in the next 2 weeks, but at what time will that show be on, Mr. Graham Day?
Time-ish. Yeah, probably 10 a.m. Ish.
Maybe 10 a.m.
Yeah. So probably not next Friday. Not from me, possibly from Bibby, but whenever it is, 10 a.m. ish. You get the idea. I've just had a quick look at the list. I see Molo, friend of the channel, he's playing some PGA Tour 2K25. So if you want to stick around, we'll drop some love on Molo. He's a very good guy. Do you know what? I see you all sat in the chat right now. If you go over there and you don't instantly follow him, you'll be banned from our stream and his. It's what it is. It depends. Do you support us and other people and want to see the best people have the best time? Then go over there and drop a follow. Or you don't have to. It's up to you. So yeah, nothing new there. Touche, Tito. Touche. Streaming tomorrow. Missed it before work crap. Yes, mate. Yes, I will be on tomorrow. Probably PUBGing tomorrow, but we'll see. It might, if we do, it might not be for the full stream or whatever. We'll see it. So yeah. I'll chat to you off stream. Let me know what you're crack-lacking for tomorrow, Doom. Maybe I like getting banned. Maybe you do. Wait, it's that easy to get out of here? Nice. Hey, you just bought a hat. Shut your mouth. You love it. You got your own emotes and everything. Anyway, on that bombshell, we will see you next time. Join Bibby tonight for some PGA 2K25. And until then, I'll stay frosty.